Hello everyone, welcome to episode 32, live with Sirus Migration at 3 p.m. on Thursday. I'm an Australian registered migration agent. My name is Isuru Yapa, and I've got Ashani Yapa, an Australian registered migration agent, here with me right now today. So as usual, we're going to talk about updates, what's out there, what's our experience last week, and also we're expecting to answer any of your questions that you're expecting to get any answers from us. If you have any question in relation to Australian immigration or visas, please type your question down below in the comment section, whether you're coming through Facebook or WhatsApp, what is it called? YouTube?
YouTube, yes.
So we will endeavor to come back to you. So we're going to talk about a few topics initially about the business visas and state opening and work visas, bit of an update about the protection visa, and we'll touch base with GTI, and then we'll get to the PR pathways for our GSM clients. Anything you want to add up, Ashani?
No, we will also talk about the training visa. We started talking about it last week because we think that is quite a viable option for most of our clients.
Yeah.
So this is your arena. If you have any questions, please don't forget to post them earlier the better, so we can get to as many questions as we can throughout this session.
So the good news is we're going to get the New South Wales announced that they're going to accept the business visa 188 ABCDE from 20th of September 2021. So it is a good news. They have also announced what criteria they're going to come up with. So we just wanted to touch base about what's new about the new migration criteria for New South Wales business migration. The very new thing that New South Wales came up with is they have introduced target sectors and non-targets and regional target sectors.
Victoria kind of has always had target sectors as well, but New South Wales...
Not for business visa and not to this extent.
Yeah, for business visa, but not to this extent.
Yes. So this is a very new thing into 188 visa categories and New South Wales.
And also what this is telling us is how much of a demand the state already has to come up with this new criteria. So these criteria is over the state criteria, which means the general criteria you have to meet in order to be eligible for 188, they still apply. On top of that criteria, if you are interested in settling in either Sydney or regional New South Wales under a subclass 188, this is the extra criteria you have to meet.
To come up with now. So how the 188 business visa works is for 188A visa, you need to get minimum of 65 points by your own, which I will have a quick chat about soon. And then you need to be below 55 years of age and over 18 years of age. And you need to have a bit of business experience, and you need to score that 65 points through a system which we will soon talk about. So with the new difference with the new New South Wales criteria, they're saying they're expecting to invite people with beside that you need to have 65 points, but then again they say out of those people we're going to filter in further to match suit us. So one of the criteria with the age is you need to be below 55 for federal requirement, but New South Wales state's now saying they're looking at people below 50. So that's one of the things. And also you're required to have a bachelor's degree, or you need to have at least 10 years work experience if you're within last 10 years.
Yeah.
3 years work experience if you're in New South Wales target sectors, or 5 years business experience if you coming up with a business proposal which is not which you don't have experience in non-target sectors.
Actually, that we will now go to the target sectors, Mario. The next, the earlier slide.
I would rather, okay, let's,
So now they talked about target sectors, so we can see where New South Wales wants to head with this, where they want to get their majority of the businesses growing and business people coming. So their target sectors include advanced manufacturing, food and beverage manufacturing. So they want a lot of manufacturing, as you can see, to be in the state. So you will be coming in to actually do manufacturing in New South Wales, using their resources hopefully and using their staff. And also agriculture technology, aerospace and defense, renewable energy and sustainability, emerging digital technologies, cyber security, and medtech. So what these sectors also tells us is it aligns with one other thing, which is GTI. GTI, when they came up with that, they said that's where Australia wants to head. That's where the country is seeing themselves in another 10 years' time being the priority of these sectors. So they align perfectly with the GTI sectors. So if you're in one of these sectors, there's a really highly possibility that you will get an invite from New South Wales to come and start your business and to boom in New South Wales economy.
Regional New South Wales also includes other target sectors other than the metropolitan area target sectors, which includes technology-enabled primary industries. So it's a broad, like just when you talk, it's a broad area. Critical minerals, recycling and waste management. So they're your target sectors. If you go back to the, that's all about the target sectors in New South Wales business. Then let's talk about personal and business assets. For normal 188A category, the federal government requirement for asset is $1.25 million. So New South Wales is saying if you're applying for a business visa in New South Wales in a metropolitan area in Sydney, then your business and asset, your personal, including your husband, wife, and the business's total net worth of your personal assets right now has to be 1.75, whereas in federal government it says 1.25. So if you go to regional, they still go by the 1.25 million, but if you're going metropolitan, it has to be 1.75. And talking about the business turnover for 188A visa, your normal requirement with the federal government guidelines is you need to have within last 4 years, the best 2 years turnover has to be minimum of $750,000. But New South Wales state is now saying for them to extend an invitation for you, you need to demonstrate that your business turnover from maximum of 2 businesses has to be at least 750,000 if you're in regional New South Wales. But if you're in metropolitan New South Wales, you need to show minimum business turnover of $1.25 million. Other than this, if you score 65 points from business experience, which is greater than 8 years work business experience, then your application will be expedited. So you'll get an expedited invitation if you can show that you have more than 8 years business experience. So a bit different to what we used to have, but I think regional New South Wales is still going pretty solid. New South Wales is one of the most populated states in Australia. It is the most populated state in Australia. With the population, there are a lot of opportunities for businesses. So for you to get the population benefits, New South Wales is a good place, and also New South Wales regional goes all the way up to upwards towards the north, border of Gold Coast, which is in 𝗪𝗠𝗪𝗪𝗪. So 𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪 airports sitting right next to each other. So if you want to experience a bit of Queensland weather and Queensland experience, or if you're planning to spend your weekend on the Gold Coast world famous beach, I think it's a good opportunity to pick
Hopefully
New
by
South
then
Wales,
the borders will be open
New South
for you
Wales
to travel
regional,
freely.
so you can enjoy the both worlds. So it is good news if you're planning for New South Wales state migration, business migration. If you require further assistance, be in touch. We have done quite a few applications last minute last year, last session as well. This is a new era with a lot of new changes.
Many lucky clients who got their invites from New South
Last
Wales.
So New South Wales been very good to most of our clients. So if you're looking at 188A, you have a 188A, B, C, or E, you have good opportunities right there. 188E, remember, you don't even need to have a lot of these things. You need to come up with a good business plan and have someone in Australia, in the state, who's willing to capitalize your idea, at least with $200,000. Then you can go into 188E category.
There's no requirement for funding.
Depends on the state.
Well, yeah.
At least like it says substantial.
Federal, yeah, okay.
So Queensland business BSMQ, that's what
the
we used to say.
Migration
Migration Queensland is the new name. So we are anticipating for them to open their gates very soon. Sunny State are expected to open the invitation hopefully next week. So if you are planning for your business visa application or your general skill migration application, no one knows the full criteria, the qualifying criteria for Queensland at the moment. Hopefully they will be open for a little while so we can put the application in. But if you are in a good score for a 491 small business owner or 491 regional or 190 visa, as well as 188A or B or C or E visa, then that's business visas or general skill migration visas. It is good timing for you to be in touch. Queensland's being open for expected to be open very soon, hopefully next week we expect. So time to talk about the favorite topic, business visa, work visas. Work visa will target a little bit more about 407. Let's bring the infograph up. Mario said that's the hint for the infograph.
So with the 407, we did talk about the visa, started talking about it last week. This is a training visa. This is not a work visa for the purpose of fulfilling the Australian labour requirement. So the speciality of this visa is, one is you don't have to pay the SAF levy or the employment levy or anything. The fees is quite less compared to subclass 186, 482, 494, all the work visas. And there's no such strict criteria as to you need this many years of experience or you need competent English or anything like that. But what it involves is a training plan, however, though. So the whole visa is based on providing training for the employee.
So the 482 visa requires you to have 2 years work experience on top of your qualification. With the 407 visa, there is no requirement for you to have 2 years, and also it is a good opportunity if you have a background to the program. It is a good opportunity for you to build up that 2 years, so maybe that can lead you to 482 at the end.
Yeah, and but what I want you to understand though, so ideal scenario for a 407 could be for a junior accountant in an accounting firm where they have other accountants who can supervise this person and start an internship or a trainee program. But if you're applying as an accountant in a company where there's no other accountant, you're accountant, and you're going to be the sole responsible person for all the accounts in that business, that is not the right person that they are looking for the 407. This is more of a training visa where you need to have supervisors and where you need to have someone who can supervise you and provide you the training. So be very mindful. As it may sound like a great visa, you really need to find out if this is the right visa for you. So you need to talk to an expert to see, given your scenario, given the employer's scenario, if you're going to get this visa or if this is going to be successful.
Exactly. And 407 gives opportunities for, like Ashani said, if you're an accountant, you're not expected to do the accounts job 100% initially. So you're expected to be trained by a senior person to perform the duties. And also, similarly, if you're a chef or a cook, you're not expected to go and solely operate the restaurant. Within that 2 years, you're expected to be trained to be a cook or a chef, which if you fulfill the requirements, you may have an opportunity to be eligible for the 482 category. So it's a wonderful opportunity for some of these clients who are looking for opportunity to proceed ahead. And also, if you're currently studying and you might want to extend your arms to get more work experience after your student visa, this is a very good opportunity. So we also have this, we always talk about the 482, 494, 186 categories, and we talked about medium to long-term, short-term skill occupation list, as well as regional occupation list, as well as Dharma list. So, and the PMSOL, primary migration skill occupation list. Each of these categories are there for a reason. There's cabinet discussions about, or the primary preliminary discussions about putting all these lists together, how it'll work or when it'll work. I think they're at least few years away. Until then, if you need to simplify this to suit your background to how to participate into one of these, be in touch. We will discuss further with you and support you in there. And also, as we explained earlier, there are lots of relaxed requirements for 407 visa if you want to go in there, especially if you're currently in Australia. There's you'll have better opportunities to join this, and also plan your permanent residency pathway through employee nomination category. When you nominating your occupation as well, you need to be mindful if what's your end goal is, whether you are expecting to gain some gain some work experience through the subclass, or you're looking for a permanent visa pathway. So finding the occupation and relating your skills and nominations to 𝗏𝗏𝐻 occupation list is very important as well. Should you require any information, any support, please be in touch. We are very quite experienced, and we can support you as much as we can. I'm sorry, bit of a dry throat. I would like to also quickly touch base about the protection visas, especially if you're currently. Thank you. This one Mario brought up without even telling him, which is really nice. So this shows how you can be defined as a refugee or can be qualified to come into one of the protection visa criteria. If you're currently, I'll focus myself when we're discussing to applicants who are based from Afghani background, because this is one of the hot topics. So discussions we have at the moment from Afghanistan. So if you're currently offshore and if you're qualifying, then applying, it's not a problem. You can go through the special portal if you're doing it by yourself, or if you're getting it done from an agent, you can do it through the special portal that the government has introduced. You don't have to go through the IMI account, but unfortunately, if you're still currently living in Afghanistan or in your country, not fled out from the country, or if you're not outside, then you are for some reason the online portal is not working. So you need to pick a Australian immigration post or Australian immigration processing center which is close to you. With our experience, Jordan's being quite proactive with accepting paper applications. So if you one of them processing these applications, we consider sending the offshore applications, paper applications to Jordan address. You might experience that they will respond to you a lot quicker. This is our experience. There's no guidelines on it. This is what we experienced within last few weeks. So Brenda's being quite helpful to a lot of our clients. Even as we speak right now, she's processing quite a few protection visa applications. I'm not. It's not my day-to-day processing criteria, but we've all been helping along this process. Let's talk about quickly with the GTI, Global Talent Independent visa categories. I think by now a lot of people know the Global Talent Independent suitability or eligibility. We would like to share what we experienced last few weeks. We're seeing processing of fintech categories, people who are applied in about March. We're getting further information requests and grants these days.
It really depends actually about your background as well, and what is your capacity and what kind of talents you can bring to Australia.
Yeah.
Unless you are prioritized, they are currently processing the applications lodged in November last year. So that is the normal waiting period. But if you are prioritized, you could be getting your invitation anytime within few weeks to few months. So that's why it's important when you put the application together, doesn't matter whichever the sector you are from, putting a right application together and meeting all the criteria and highlighting how you meet the criteria. And also GTI application has changed a lot in the last few months. They are updating the application as they go, I believe.
Mostly there's a lot of questions and focus towards your
nominate as well.
So one of the major part is to have a nominator. Nominator can be an Australian permanent resident or a citizen-based nominator or a
eligible New Zealander that has to nominate you for the visa.
Or else it can be an Australian company which can be working within or outside of Australia. But
the most important thing is that person or that company has to be in top of the sector that you are applying from.
So if a senior than you.
That's right. And if you're from fintech, then that person or the company has to be in top of their field or the fintech field. And what's other important good news is, as you already know, that ACS has been nominating people for GTI. For different sectors that covers in ACS, but now Engineers Australia also has started nominating people. So especially if you're outside Australia and you were struggling with finding a nominator, now you can approach Engineers Australia. They have their own process to nominate you from any engineering background, which is actually really good news for a lot of people who are from outside Australia planning to apply under GTI.
Let's touch base on 190, or let's touch base a little bit about permanent residency pathways for GSM. Mario, do we have any grant letters that we can pop out? Yes, we have.
There's 190 grant
right there.
Is that a grant notice?
Yeah, there. Yeah, that's right. That's right. As we all know, when you talk about general skill migration, we we have 189, 190, 491 categories. 189 is the federal government one, and some 491 family sponsored is the federal government, which you will be assessed and qualified under your own points. So you get points for your age, you get points for your experience, you get points for your qualifications, you get points for your English, etc. But if you then you go in a first in first out, not first in first out, priority base poll, where you'll be selected through skill select by the federal government. If you're qualified for that category, certain highly competitive occupations, such as, for an example, I'm sorry if I'm hurting your feelings, if you're an accountant, it is the occupation is very highly competitive, so unless you have really good mark, it is really hard to get 189 nomination. So 190 is state nominated, so you need to have an Australian state or a territory nominating you for this. You get extra 5 points on top of what you would have got for 189 visa. If you get qualified for 491, 189 and 190 is permanent residency, but if you get a 491, it's a provisional visa which gives you a pathway to permanent residency. 491 visa, you get 15 extra point for your if you get selected. So 491, not only the occupations based invitation, there is a really fresh new category called 491 small business owners, which Queensland started off. Now we've got ACT, the Canberras have their own category, and also
Tasmania.
Tasmania's got it. South Australia is not doing it at the moment.
Yeah.
So it depends on what you studied, and a lot of our clients who studies under a student visa, they have a big demand to go into these categories, and then they're looking to get some qualifications under 485, and for them to get a skills assessment, they go through JRPs, or the job ready programs. So it is really important, if you're expecting to stay longer in Australia, or if you expecting to study further, work further in Australia, get some Australian work experience, or plan yourself to live here permanently, then it is important that you plan it properly with an experienced migration agent. So I think that has taken us to a certain level where we discussed a lot of information. Let's take a couple of quite a few questions and answer some of the concerns that you may have that we've been given through the comment section.
Okay.
Is
that the first one? FA consultant? Okay, so he's saying, I want 485 skilled visa. Yeah, definitely we can help you with that if you're in Australia. So 485 is only you're only eligible for 485 if you studied in Australia, or if you have a certain Australian qualification. Then because of that, you're given either 2 years, 4 years, 5 years, or it could be 1.5 years, depending on what you study. So that is 485. It's a temporary visa with no work limitation. So if you're eligible, we can certainly help you with 485 visa. I've got Davis asking, what is the 491 visa procedures in New South Wales? So New South Wales has few categories. We need to know a lot more before we can tell you what is the procedure, because it really depends on which region you're in, which occupation, what are you targeting, which criteria of New South Wales. So let us know, or send us an email to admin@sirus.com.au, so we can help you once we know more. I've got Mahmoud saying, I'm a cook from offshore and apply for EOI for Tasmania and essay with 65. You think I will get invite for? Please let me know.
Don't say it straight away.
It'll probably take a while. Maybe you really don't. I don't think you have a great chance, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Right now, because the borders are closed as well, and they are not inviting people from offshore.
Especially cooks. Just Mahmoud, just get yourself reassessed and go through the duties to understand whether you're really a cook or a chef, because chefs in priority skill migration occupation list as well, which may allow you to get a sponsorship if you find a job. Then you might have an opportunity to come around another way too.
Yeah,
but very less. I mean, chances aren't that great under 65. You never know. We might be wrong, but our experience, yeah.
I've got Jignesh saying, any best solution for Section 48 bar candidate to lodge application during this trying time? I know, so when you're Section 48 barred, you can only lodge very, very limited applications onshore. You have to leave the country and then lodge the application and come back. And because of the international borders are closed, a lot of people cannot travel. So that's why he's asking any solution. So without knowing your full case, I can't really suggest you what visa, but we know that Tasmania now is accepting people with Section 48 bar to lodge their skilled migration visas. So other states may open, other states may come up with that, looks maybe. But we need to know a lot more about what is a suitable visa for you before we can say, yes, you can go ahead and go through this pathway. So again, Jignesh, let us know a little bit more about your case. You can email us. I've got Sunil asking, hi, I applied for 491 chef 3 months ago, South Australia, and how much it will take to grant visa. And last week I leave my job as chef, so it affect my visa or no? Well, at the time of invitation, you should be working. So maybe try to find a job as a chef again in the same region as soon as possible.
And depending on your work experience, again, for chefs, there's a lot of other options as well. If you like a PR pathway consultation, be in touch with one of our officers and we will consult one-on-one and give you a better option.
Yeah, I've got Priyanka asking, is Queensland open to offshore applicants? Right now, Queensland is not open. So once they open, we will know whether they're going to open to offshore applicants or not. Next week. Tune in next week. Most likely.
Well, we can't guarantee. There's no one told us it'll be next week, but
most
we're
likely
predicting that it will be next week because we know most likely it will be open. Like they will start accepting applications in September, but we can't guarantee.
Yeah, Tatsara's asking. He's saying, hi Tatsara. Thank you for watching our live. Is there any chance for IT-related occupations with 90 points for 189 in Victoria? I think definitely with 90 points, it is worth lodging your EOI.
Yeah, it's a good point.
But don't just depend on that. Please look for plan B as well. Or keep this as a plan B and work on a plan A for a different visa. Don't just depend on your 189 invitation. I've got Gaitans asking, hi, thanks for the program. I wish to know what path can a current PhD student in medicine from Sydney follow to rapidly obtain PR. So if you
PhD, as soon as you finish, then you can go into global talent independent pathway as well. So because you're in medical sector, you might have a better option depending on your past performance, your past achievement, and also your maybe supervisor's nomination, etc. as well.
And also PhD is a great program because just by studying a PhD in Australia, you're going to get 4 years of subclass 485 visa. And 4 years is a very long time for you to plan your permanent residency. So don't waste that 485. Definitely get that 485 and look for other options as well. I've got Sean saying he sent me an email, but I'm waiting for the reply. Sean, I don't know which email address you sent the email to. We will look into it and get back to you.
Sean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got Joanna asking, hi, I have BTech Pharmaceutical Engineering and Tech 2019. I lost the question.
Mario's going up
No
and down.
experience. Is there any chance to continue master's degree in pharmaceutical through and get PR? So from 2009, looks like you don't have any work experience. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's going to be a bit tough to show that what you've been doing since 2009 to now and why you suddenly want a student visa. But I'm not saying it's impossible. Send us a CV. We can have a look at it and give you further advice. I've got G10 asking how it count experience for 186. After qualification or after skill assessment, because my employer ready to provide me 186. G10, I'm very interested to talk to you.
Yeah,
So the
me
work
too.
experience is counted after the qualification.
Initial
So
qualification.
it is not after the skill assessment, because most of the skill assessments, they deduct some of your earlier years work experience to get the deemed qualified date. But it doesn't matter for 186 as long as you have a positive skill assessment and you have full-time permanent work experience that we can show for 3 years with payment evidence and employment letters, you should be good. So please get in touch with us. We provide free consultation for employee nominated visas. I will have a chat with you and then assess your case personally and give you the advice.
And if you have a bachelor's degree in accounting and master's degree in accounting, if you're an accountant, you can use your bachelor's as well. You don't have to wait till you finish your master's degree to be qualified for this category.
Yeah, I've got Reshma asking, sorry guys if we are being too quick. We want to get through as many questions as we can. That's why we are going really fast, reading your questions fast. I've got Reshma saying, I'm a teacher working in Gulf. Would like to apply for 190 but not able to get the IELTS score. Can I apply as a tutor to wet assess or any other options? Please again send us a full CV of what you've been doing and what qualifications you have. Then we can assess and say, whether you can go through wet assess as a tutor. If you cannot get the IELTS 77 and 88, which is quite high for a teacher. I've got Donald. Hi, have they stopped processing the 143 parent visa because of the pandemic? No, they haven't. I've got Grant Anderson asking, hi, my employer wants to sponsor me for 482, but I have less than 2 years experience. I only have 1.5 years. Can I apply for 482?
407.
So the good thing with 482 is your employment experience counts at the time of the grant, not at the time of the application. So what I would do in this scenario, Grant, I would look at your current visa, see when it expires, wait for the last minute and lodge your 482. Hopefully we can, by the time you get your 482 granted, you would have already completed your 2 years. So it is definitely worth looking at it because you already have 1.5 years. What we are missing is 6 months.
And also maybe we would like, it'll be good for us to understand whether you're counting your experience correct as well. Grant, with your 482 work experience, you can count the experience you gain while you studying as well.
Yeah, while you're studying, prior to studying, because it doesn't say skilled experience for 482, and you can count part-time.
And
so
also
get in touch with us.
Yeah, if you did a training under 407, as long as the job duties are compatible, then we can call it.
Okay, I've got Miru asking, hi, I have an MBA from Southern Queensland University. Can I apply for 485? Currently, I'm in Sri Lanka and I have completed my MBA from Sri Lanka. Thank you. So if you did your whole MBA from Sri Lanka, then unfortunately you cannot apply for 485. You're not going to be eligible. Sometimes they do deliver the program and they get the certificate from the university. Doesn't mean that you studied in Australia under a student visa. Unless there are some COVID concessions, some people were eligible to lodge the visa from 485. But if you just got it from Sri Lanka, then unfortunately you're not eligible to apply for 485.
Sai Kiran Macklin from Facebook. We've got a question. Any chances in New South Wales 491 under stream 3 with 90 points for accounting? 90
Maybe
points
if
is
you
not
are-
too bad,
yeah.
especially category 3, but experience says around 100, but 90 is a very good competitive
And
number.
especially if you're already working as an accountant, any state of Australia, and earning money, then that's should be okay.
So, Mary 𝗀𝗪𝗘𝗓𝗪, my spouse, first cousin are Australian citizens. Are they able to send invitation to me because my wife's wife can't migrate as a skilled migrant? So,
Yeah, you can keep reading. Ask her to call this number.
sorry.
Who's this? 𝗀𝗪𝗘𝗓𝗪. My spouse, first cousins are Australian citizens. Are they able to send invitation to me because my wife can't migrate as skilled migrant?
So 491 they can do it.
Small businesses, family.
Family business. Family sponsored. There are other categories that she may be eligible. Where you can get support from Australian citizen is if they're living in regional area, and as you said, the first cousin should be fine. We'll have to wrap it up very soon, so we'll answer next 2-3 questions.
Yeah.
We'll go to Anusha and we'll finish it off today.
Yeah.
And if there's anything else, type it in, or you can contact us through any of these contact details, either whether direct phone calls or emails. Any updates on New South Wales 190 visa invitations? Are they invited? Have they invited? Are they invited any? Have they invited any? So invitations, I haven't seen
No.
any lately, but you can.
But very soon, I think people will be starting to get their
invitations.
invites.
I think we put some applications through, but I think they will, because there's a lockdown delay as well. Maybe, I don't know. Sunil Lola, I already received my invitation for 491 as a chef. Congratulations, and I leave my job as a chef due to some reasons.
So I'm just wondering if you were working as a chef when you got the invitation, and what
then it should be okay.
what
for the visa.
requirements are there for you, because sometimes they ask for an employment contract, so it really depends on what requirement was there in your invitation. It could be an issue, it could not be an issue. If you want us to handle look at the case, let us know, then we will look at your invitation and we will go from there.
Anusha Timalzina, Amen
EEN. Endorse
with
enrolled
enrolled
nurse
nurse
with 70 points working and studying in regional New South Wales, applying for 190 with skill assessment, also studying Bachelor of Nursing. Did she type the question again? Or any possibility for invitation? Okay, she's typed few more questions. I think that's it, right?
Yes,
So
yeah.
she wants to know if she has a possibility to get the EEN, so with 70 points. If you're already working and studying in regional area, I think you have a good chance to get the invitation, especially as
if you have a current job at the moment as well.
But I believe in New South Wales, I can't remember on top of my head, they are inviting enrolled nurses, but not endorse enrolled nurse. So yeah, make sure that the occupation you have picked and the ANSCO code is there on that region's list, because they have different lists for different regions in New South Wales. As long as it's the same ANSCO code with your skills assessment, then you should be fine.
If you like us to have a go at it, send us the information. We will look into it deeper, and then we'll give you feedback on it. And yeah, so Mario got it. There was one last. Let's Nisagi Patel. When South Australia will open for offshore 190 skill visas? We don't know yet.
Yeah, they are open for some skilled occupations for you to register your interest, but well, we don't know when they will fully open. And guys, thank you so much again.
One last
Okay.
question. I think it's a good question. I think we should quickly give 𝗪𝗪𝗪𝗪 a quick question. Can I lodge 476 visa and a student visa at once? Of course you can.
Yeah.
You can apply for 2 visas in the same time, but once you receive the most beneficial visa, it is advisable for you to withdraw the other visa application. So it was great to have you all there, and thank you very much for visiting. If you haven't subscribed to our channel or hit that like button or the bell icon, please do all that as a token of appreciation, and also it will allow you to get the latest information as soon as we come online about them. We are expected to release some new videos explaining certain visa categories and also with the latest news. So stay tuned. Until then, stay safe, be good, have a great weekend coming up soon, and
See you next
see you
week,
next week.
guys.
God bless you all.